Alright, hope we are all good, and of course welcome back. So today is of course Saturday, we're in for upper today. What I thought I would do is a sort of small sort of update on prep as a whole, how I'm getting on, how kind of far away from certain shows, all that kind of stuff, right? First off, yesterday I had lower. Now on my lower days, what I try and do is keep my steps extremely minimal. Now, didn't happen yesterday at all. So I got roped into playing pickleball. If anyone's ever played pickleball, by the way, I had no idea pickleball was actual sport. I was like, what is pickleball? The easiest way to describe pickleball, right, is imagine you're playing table tennis on a badminton court, and it's kinda like tennis, if that makes any sense. So it's basically table tennis, tennis and badminton in one, right? So pre-legs, I was on like 9k steps. After my leg session, I was on like 12.5k. I was like, nice. Then after pickleball, I was at 18k. Now for me, that's a lot of steps, right? Considering just now, I got my wee sheet up here of like all my data collection. Considering my steps, usually on average about 13.1, 13.2k. For example, Monday 13.1, Tuesday 13.2, Wednesday 14k, a relatively high day for me. The Thursday 13.5k, then yesterday 17.89. So near enough 18k steps. So yeah, basically like 5k more than I usually do. This morning, my legs are literally like lead. Imagine you've been injected with like sheer concrete in my legs. That's what it feels like. It's not very nice. Anyway, that is my current situation. But in terms of the kind of shows just now, I'll get the actual sort of like days out for you. But in terms of show one, we are roughly 8 weeks out, so 57 days. Now, when you think about it, it's not actually that long away, to be fair. 57 days out for the first show, then the second show we are 11 weeks out, so 78 days out. This morning I was sitting at 81.75, I think. 81.75 kg, which I'm not too like, oh no, about. I was 81.25 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday 81.55. Yesterday 81.55, 81.25 the 2 days prior. Then this morning I was 81.75, back up a little bit. But again, after doing 18k steps, legs are beyond fatigued this morning. Probably why I'm a little bit heavier, to be fair. But I'm not too concerned about scale weight at all. Visually, I'm feeling probably the best I ever have, to be fair. Like, I've obviously felt sharper, like say at that 81.25 kg mark, but this morning I still feel sharp. I don't feel pure like extremely flat, which is good. Like, I think being in a sort of dieting phase, you naturally think, oh, I'm going to feel flat, I'm going to feel pure skinny, like I'm not going to like how I look, how I feel, all that kind of stuff. But to be fair, I feel good. I feel like I look not too bad for where I am just now, you know what I mean? For 81.75 kg, for me, it is the best I have ever looked at this scale weight ever. And that is always what you want, to be the best version of yourself at that scale weight as much as you possibly can be. Like, if you're gaining for, say, 12, 13 months, you're going to look pretty fluffy. You're going to like embrace the blubber, so to speak, right? Like for me, for example, at 101.5 kg, I was like, that was me, peak off season, I was fat. We can all admit, Aidan, you were a chubby boy. And I was chubby, man. I was very, very chubby, right? But at the same time, I had never been 101.5 kg before. So obviously, I'm going to be fluffy, you know what I mean? But I've been 81.75 kg before, just looking nothing like this. I just feel class. I feel like I look good for where I actually am in my sort of own journey, you know what I mean? So each to their own anyway. But today we are in for upper. You've seen the upper session before, but what I'm going to basically do is like run you through the session, i.e. just me doing my top sets, all that kind of stuff. I won't run through like my actual upper session on like how to do certain movements. I've done it all before. I've showed you it in previous videos. It's more so a kind of like a session run through of how I'm basically thinking in the session, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to get my pre-meal down me in roughly about 15 minutes-ish. So I'll get that down me. I'll show you the pre-meal as well, because why not? I'm not going to lie, it's not exciting, and you might sit and think, Aidan, what are you doing? Because I do something that's probably a little bit weird to some folk, right? Now, chicken and rice, you might use your own kind of sauce, all that kind of stuff. Me, I can't lie, probably extremely questionable, but you'll see in a minute anyway. So I'll catch you at the pre-meal. Right, pre-meal. I'm going to extremely expose myself here, man. But anyway, a wee can of Rosa Monster. I had one yesterday and I had like no digestive stress issues at all. When I was having these like every single day, I was starting to get a bit of kind of digestive stress here and there. So if you're someone that pure like milks Monster and has like one or two a day, every single day, and you start kind of thinking, right, okay, digestion is going a wee bit, honestly, get them gone for a bit, take a pure like Monster detox, and you might feel better kind of going back to them after. But anyway, I'll start off nice and light. We have some dark chocolate and green grapes in there, 100 grams of grapes, 30 grams dark chocolate. Now, my pre-gym meal, I have chicken and rice, right? This might not even be weird, but I've got a feeling someone's going to judge it, right? So I have chicken and rice. I've got 2 grams pink salt, 1 gram of low salt as well for sodium, potassium. But I douse my chicken and rice in tomato sauce, man. I don't know if that is weird, mate, but to me, see when I started prep, weirdly, I only started doing this when I started prep. Tomato sauce over chicken and rice, and oh my god, for me it's absolutely banging. I don't know what it is, I just pure love chicken and rice with tomato sauce, man. It's only the reduced sugar one, or reduced sugar and salt, I think it is actually. It's just 20 grams, I think in total. I think 15 grams is like 10 calories, so it's like maybe, what's that, like 19 calories, 18, 19 calories. I put 20 grams on it, right, so it's not anything pure crazy, but it looks like it's pure doused, if you know what I mean. I just kind of drizzle it over the top. But for me, I could be a weirdo, I don't know, right, but I'm telling you, it's banging. Anyway, I'll get stuck into this, and I'll probably catch you either in the car or making the pre-shake, intra-shake, all that kind of stuff. Or possibly just in the gym, but I'll see you at some point anyway. Right, we're of course in the car, about to be en route to the gym. Now the good thing about this wee DJI is you can set it up basically anywhere, sorry, pardon me, and like the wee gimbal follows you about and that, so I'm over here, there and everywhere, and it's following me about. So hopefully it stays kind of relatively upright whilst I'm driving here, but for pre we have the Pumpage pick and mix flavour. Honestly, see if you've not tried this, best flavour ever, right? Now, I like Pumpage and I like Mega Pump. They're my kind of 2 pre's that I go for, right? Conte Mega Pump or Trained by JP Pumpage. Personally, Pumpage is just better in terms of kind of like overall. Like you get a good focus, good pump, like everything just feels complete. Mega Pump is very, very good. Like pump wise, absolutely class. I wouldn't say flavour is like anywhere near as good as Pick and Mix from Trained by JP, I can't lie. Focus wise as well, like it is there, but I wouldn't then say it's like completely amazing compared to Pumpage. For me personally, Pumpage is like bang on for me. I haven't tried other Conte Pre's. I know they've got like Conviction, which is like a stim pre. Me personally, I can't really hack the stim keys, to be honest. The stim keys. I got a wee notification there saying your keys have been left behind, but they're right next to me, so that's a lot of shite. But they're stim pre's. I haven't tried like really many stim pre's, to be fair, because I just can't hack it at all. Like it doesn't agree with me. I just get pure mega anxious over like high caffeine pre's, so I stick to the non-stim stuff and it works for me. Anyway, we'll go en route to the gym. I'll probably catch you in the gym. Now the plan is just run through the session kind of in general, just kind of how I'm feeling, how the kind of top sets are feeling, all that kind of stuff. We're obviously like just about bang on 8 weeks out now. Like the show is 8 weeks tomorrow. So kind of like actual how am I feeling during my sessions 8 weeks out, because surprisingly I'm feeling pretty good. Touch some kind of wood that continues. But for the past like 13, 14 weeks on prep, I've been feeling absolutely class when it comes to training, man. So hopefully that continues. But anyway, I'll catch you. Right, we are of course in the gym. I'm going to need to speak like holding the mic like this. Reason being, the music is actually bouncing. It's also extremely busy in the gym today, but do you know what? I'm kind of over that sort of whole social anxiety aspect of kind of speaking in the gym now, which I'm actually kind of like actually proud of, to be fair, because before I was pure shit scared to speak to a camera, like in general, I'm like in the gym. So I'm hoping the mic quality isn't too bad. I've spoken in the gym before, it's been absolutely dire, like extremely bad quality, so I'm hoping it's not too bad this time round. But usually I start my upper day with a single arm pull down, however, it is taken, so it's completely fine. On to the next pretty much and come back to it. So it starts with a single arm pull down, then it used to be bent over rows. Now that has completely ruined my back. Like I was genuinely a cripple for like 2 or 3 days, couldn't really walk properly, to be fair. So they're now out. We basically have a kind of a wide grip, well, wide-ish grip cable row in there now. I get a bit of erectors out of it, not like anything crazy lower back focused, but I get a bit of lower back, a bit of erectors, but it's nothing like too wild. Compared to an actual bent over row, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm para. I'm very scared to do it again, because when I proper like gubbed my back, like I honestly thought I was me done. I thought I was pure out of prep, like, everything was ruined because I couldn't even walk like at all. So there's just no point risking it, man. Like I could do it, and it's like obviously a fun movement to do, but at the same time, like, do I want to risk a bit of fun for a potential crippled back? Not really, so I'm not going to do it. So we have, of course, the wide grip or wide-ish grip cable row. I'll show you just now. Then we'll try and get on some single arm pull downs afterwards. Right, overall, that's pretty successful, man. Last week, oh, where's the volume? Pretty sure that's fucking the music's hard to pay myself, I think. But last week I got 90 for 10. That was 90 again for 10. Now, you might notice kind of towards the end of my set, I'm not pure like being extremely picky on like how short I can get the muscle pretty much. So I'm leading from the elbows, I'm dragging it back. But like say for example, like a T-bar as well, right? You're not going to be able to actually get the muscle fully short towards the end of the set. Now, just because you can't get a full range of motion and get it completely short does not mean you need to stop the set. You can get so much out of lengthened portions of each movement, especially in back movements. Obviously, you can get it in that chest movement, but at the same time, like, you kind of have to get the fully shortened range for a chest movement to actually kind of get a lot out of it, that proper contraction and the fully extended push on a chest press, for example, right? With a back movement, I don't need to come all the way back to get a good, like, amount out of the movement, pretty much. So when I can't then get it fully short, I keep going. I'm not going to stop just because, like, say, for example, my first rep I can get all the way back here, but my seventh rep I can get back to, like, here. It's not a major difference from here to here, you know what I mean? So why would I then stop the set just because I can't get all the way back? I'm not going to do that. So me personally, this works beautifully for me, to be fair. Like, bent over row, it was fun, it was good, but I don't want to stop too soon. And now, because I've kind of got in my mind that, okay, I hurt my back doing that, I kind of want to stop early. I don't want that. With these, they feel safe, they feel good, so
I just keep going. If I can't get it fully short, it's fine. Just keep pushing through. Who cares? But a good set overall. I've got one more here. I dropped to basically 80 kilos, so I did 90 kilo there for 10. I get 80 last week for 12. But what I basically do in the back off set is hold a small pause at the bottom. The movement's the fully lengthened portion pretty much. So that is the plan for set 2. 80 kg, try and get 12 again, a wee pause at the lengthened. Right, so we did indeed manage to get on the single arm pull down. This machine in general, the Nautilus Nitro single arm pull down, I absolutely love. Like recently, we just got it in the gym. Well, in the past, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago. Since I've got it in, my mic's pure went off to the side. Since they got it in, I've just absolutely loved using it. Like it is so good, man. I got a proper good stimulus, really good connection. It's quite strange. Like when you kind of like bring it down at first, it feels extremely light. Once you kind of start moving, it feels extremely heavy. So it's kind of weird. I've used it before, but it was like years ago I used it before, and I didn't really like it that much. Using it again now, it just feels like it feels so smooth and so nice, man. So I can't complain at all. But I done my first set of my right arm, now onto the left arm. Right arm, it felt very good, matched last week's reps as well. So we're doing well so far. The wide grip cable though went well. This is going well so far. So hopefully the rest of the session follows suit then. Oh, again, very good. 8 right, 8 left, 57 kg. Got the exact same last week, completely fine. Just now, I'd kind of rather match reps than like pure try and force extra reps that aren't even like the best quality, you know what I mean? Like, my main focus just now is making sure I'm maintaining performance, but my stimulus, if I can increase it. I want my reps to be high quality consistently, right? Now, I could say, for example, last week get 8 right, 8 left, come in here and like force that 8th rep and it just be proper garbage quality. Like I'd rather get 7 extremely high quality reps and then just call the set. Like if I knew for a fact going for that 8th rep would be so sloppy all over the place, not a good quality rep, I'd rather just not take it, to be honest. I know it might sound pure like controversial, like, oh, you want to match reps and like kind of maintain your load and your execution. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to kind of maintain that execution and the accurate stimulus. Like, I could take the 8th rep, but it might be completely awful quality. And to me, there's just not much point. Like, I'm creating more fatigue, which isn't a bad thing at all. For example, if I'm doing my bent over rows, for example, I might try to kind of force more reps in that situation. Different. It's like working multiple different muscle groups, right? But for this, I'm trying to target my lats and my lats only. I don't want to then try and pure start like jerking the weight back and all that to try and get an 8th rep. There's just no point doing that. But the fact that I'm maintaining loads, keeping them very accurate to me, and the quality feels absolutely bang on. I literally cannot complain. So, 8 reps, both arms, matched last week. Let's try and match the back off as well. I'm not going to show you the back off sets. I think if I just kind of show you every single set, it'd be like a pure 2-hour long video. We won't do that. So I'll try and kind of show you the sort of top sets anyway, how I'm feeling with and all that kind of stuff. I've also got my check-in after this session. I need to check in with Finn, so I'll record the sort of like me checking in the posing room as well. So far, so good. I'm forgetting I need to speak into the mic to actually hear me. I was holding it pure to the floor there. But single arm lat pull down ticked off, went very well. We're now on to single arm at cuffed lateral days. Now with these, Actually, quite recently, I've started holding wrist straps. You can hold it, say, a D handle or anything like that. Personally, I believe it was Cuba. I know I say it quite a lot to be fair. Cuba Sylvester's challenge, speaking about it. Basically, kind of having sort of force through all your joints by just kind of gripping onto something for, like, say, for example, any sort of cuffed movements. Say, for example, you're going to say, I don't know, like a cuffed lying lateral raise, or for example, in here, a standing single arm lateral raise. Just kind of holding something, if you're not holding a handle, actually makes a lot more sense. You can just feel like you're actually using a handle rather than just like your cuffed wrist, so to speak. So for me, I get a bit of a better stimulus off actually holding something and actually gripping something hard for the entire set. I feel like I'm not like in a pure fragile position. Like, say, for example, my joints are starting to feel pure sore, all that kind of stuff. So it helps in that kind of sense, like having kind of stacked and like everything's actually compact and tense by gripping something rather than just kind of relying on your wrist to move the load pretty much. So for me, it works. Might not work for you, but personally, I enjoy doing it. It kind of just kind of put something in my mind that's like allowing me to get some more stimulus for the movement. You know what I mean? It might sound stupid to you, but trust me, it does definitely do something. So I will get into the top set here. We have 20 kg. Is that right? 20 kg. I got 11 last week, so we'll go for 11 again. I actually need to move the camera to that side because I've just realised that I started my... In fact, let me double check that first. No, I'm talking absolute rubbish. I thought I started with my right arm, but I started with my left arm, so you're on the right side. So I'll just pin these here and we'll get moving. Oh! That was very good. That was 11 again. 11 last week, 11 this week. Common theme this session, we're kind of maintaining reps. Now, previously I have been progressing quite a lot. When it comes to sort of like heavy presses, heavy rows, I found them the sort of hardest to like actually maintain, or even progress for that matter. But anything like kind of overhead for me is a big struggle to maintain. So for example, this session I've got an overhead press. That for me is hard to maintain. Now, lateral raises at the start, I was struggling to kind of maintain. I reset it a little bit. I was doing 20 kg previously, right? For I think it was 8 or 9 at the start of prep. But again, it felt really sloppy. Wasn't pure like extremely accurate for what I wanted. So I dropped back down to 15 kg. So I reset the load, reset the form, reset the whole movement as a whole. And it felt so much better. And kind of actually resetting the load and then driving up again, I get much more stimulus. It was so much more accurate. And I was consistently getting stronger with more accurate form. And that is what you want, right? If you're like pushing load and consistently pushing and pushing, try to go heavier and heavier and heavier, eventually it's going to start to get quite sloppy. It won't be as tidy, it won't be as accurate. You see it a lot with, say, like an RDL or like a deadlift, right? Everyone's pure chasing load, like, oh, I want to get a 200 kg deadlift, I want to get a 220 kg deadlift, whatever it may be, right? You start chasing and chasing and chasing the numbers. And eventually it won't be tidy, it won't be accurate, and you'll need to pull back to kind of actually reset your form and get an accurate set out of it. So same thing goes for something as small as a single arm cuff lateral raise. If you're getting like, if the weight's getting away from you and you can't really control it as much anymore, just reset it. There is no harm and no like shame in resetting load. Like at the end of the day, we're not here to try and impress people with how heavy we're lifting, all that kind of stuff. Like, of course, it's cool to see guys deadlifting like 400 kilo with like class form, like fair play to them. But at the same time, we're bodybuilders. We're here to try and like grow muscle. Even if you're not a bodybuilder, you're just trying to build muscle. You have to be accurate to actually build muscle. If you're just like shifting load from A to B with no stimulus, you're not going to build a lot of muscle. Trust me, I've been there, I've done it for like 2 or 3 years. I've just kind of started shifting load, thinking, oh, I'm getting stronger, so I must be building muscle. Like it's just not the case at all. Over the past year, especially, I've made sure my training has been like so accurate, and by actually doing that, it's helped me grow so much. And now that I'm actually in prep and sort of revealing that muscle, I'm like, oh my god, I actually have grown over the past year. You know what I mean? So, aye, if you're getting a little bit too heavy with certain movements, just strip it back a little bit and reset it. But aye, single arm cuff lateral raise. We've matched the left arm. We'll go for the right arm. We'll no doubt match that as well. Then we're on to some pressing. Right, so I did just do flat chest. Well, I say flat chest, but it's kind of a slight incline on that Cybex Eagle. But it's actually a very, very nice machine for me anyway. So a quick wee thing I want to touch on is, see if you have 2 sets, right? So say for example, rather than having like a sort of a top set, back off set sort of format, right? If you have 2 sets, both the exact same rep range, that does not always mean that you need to drop the load, right? Now, what I've kind of fell into the habit of personally is like always thinking, right, okay, I've got one heavy set and then one lighter set, right? Now, with that Cybex Eagle press, I used to do that all the time. Have a heavier set and like a small kind of decrease in weight and do a second set, right? But my rep range was both 6 to 10 for both sets. See if you like actually need to drop the load, don't. What I've started doing on that chest press specifically is keeping my weight the exact same and try to match reps for 2 sets. Sometimes I get it absolutely bang on, other times maybe a rep short. But for the most part, it's usually like I get 2 sets the exact same. And if I can do that consistently, class. You don't always have to drop the load, right? See if, say, for example, a smaller like rep range feels better for you, or a smaller like rep count feels better for you. Like let's say you get 6 reps and those 6 reps are of a high quality, they feel absolutely bang on for you. Consistently aim for 6 to like maybe 6, 7, 8 reps, right? If your rep range is 6 to 10 and you find, nah, when I hit 10 reps, that feels absolutely bang on for me, aim for 2 sets of close to 10 reps. Simple as that. Don't need to always go for, right, okay, well, one set I'm going for 6 reps, the next set I'm going for 10 reps at a lighter load. It doesn't have to be that way. If you prefer like going for lower reps, cool, go for it. If it feels better, batter in. But aye, for me, personally, I've kind of found keeping the load the exact same on that chest press specifically works well. On this overhead press, different story. As I told you before, my overhead pressing is hard to kind of maintain. So what I like to do is go a heavier set, aim for 6, 7, 8 reps, then go for a slight back off and load, and then aim for roughly 8, 9, 10 reps. So I'm trying to go for that kind of the shorter end of the rep range than the taller end of the rep range, so to speak. So aye, it's kind of how I work it for certain machines. You'll kind of have your own preferences. Like chest press, I like to kind of maintain the same load now and try and match reps. Overhead pressing, I like a little bit of a kind of variety in there. Back movements, again, completely different situation when it comes to back, all that kind of stuff, right? You just find what works for you, what feels good for you, and just stick with that, man. At the end of the day, like, everyone has their own methods of training, own different like things they enjoy when it comes to training. Don't sit and think, oh, because this person does that, I need to do that. Nah, you don't. You can just do what you want, man. Honestly, when it comes to training, it's probably the only thing you can actually have a lot of freedom with. Like when it comes to food, you can't really have much freedom and if you're being realistic, if you're trying to gain, you need to be relatively strict. If you're trying to diet, you need to be relatively strict, right? When it comes to training, just have fun with it, man. Find what you enjoy the most and stick with that consistently, right? But aye, that's my kind of wee number one tip for you when it comes to sort of top set, back off set, or just 2 sets the same, whatever it may be. We're going to get our intra workout in now. We're roughly about halfway through the session. This overhead press is kind of the sort of halfway mark, so to speak. So we have, I believe, 30 grams of carb powder in here, so 30 grams of carbs pretty much. 15 grams of essential gain, which is basically EAAs, and then roughly 5 to 10 grams of creatine. So of course the carb powder is purely for a wee sort of boost mid-session. Essential gain, which is basically EAAs, is sort of like active recovery, so to speak. I'm basically digesting, consuming some more protein throughout my workout, pretty much. Can I start that recovery process nice and early? Of course, aid sort of muscle protein synthesis, all that scientific malarkey, which I won't get into because I'm not that kind of person that goes like extremely deep diving into all that kind of stuff. I just love training. I love sticking to a plan. I love growing. I love dieting. I love it all, man. This lifestyle, this is for me, man. This is for me. And then, of course, creatine, as you know, strength, increased endurance, increased all that good stuff. Basically, kind of fills your muscle. Get a bit of a fuller look in your muscles, pretty much. So aye, that is the intra workout. So I'm going to tan this just now, then we'll get into the top set. I'm not going to lie, I always get nervous for this top set. Reason being, I've told you before, overhead pressing for me is tough to maintain. So if we can maintain it, we're absolutely flying. I'm sure we absolutely will. But at the same time, it's always scary. And kind of being nervous and scared for a set isn't always a bad thing. If you can kind of channel that emotion correctly, it can actually be a pretty big positive. So we'll see how it goes, man. That was 98 kilos. Last week we got 98 for 7. And if my maths is correct, that was 7 again. So 98 for 7, maintained from last week. Very good set, very out of breath. I'll catch you in the next movement. Jesus, man. Right, we are now on to a machine upper back row. This machine, Life Fitness row, honestly feels incredible. It's very, very heavy. Well, I like going heavy on it, to be fair. It's a very, very nice machine. So, as I said before, kind of keeping like your reps the same, your load the same. On this, completely different for me. I like having one sort of like, yeah, buddy, let's get it moving kind of set, you know what I mean? Then one kind of back off, bit more accurate kind of set. So I'll go for 112 kilos. My rep range is 7 to 12, I'm pretty sure. So I aim for roughly that kind of 7 mark. My back off set, I then go for say like 10ish, 9, 10 reps. But I personally enjoy a bit of a kind of heavier top set. Then again, bit of a back off set. So we'll get stuck into it now and hopefully it goes just as well. So I got 7 last week. There, that was 8. Well, I say 8. The 8th was quite, yeah, buddy. So I'd say 7, like, solid reps in. A pretty kind of meh 8th reps. I'll class it as 7 again. So basically matched last week's with a bit of kind of oomph in the end as well. But overall, a very solid set, man. Right, we are now on to a single arm lat row. So we've had single arm lat pull down, and now we have single arm lat row. Now this machine, personally, big fan of, again, knotless compound row. I used to use the Cybex Eagle row. It's actually right behind the camera just now. It was very, very good. But I think with this, I prefer kind of having my sort of self, like, basically grounded, if that makes sense. Like, kind of, the way I run it is I have my working side foot forward and sort of planted into the machine, and my non-working side leg planted into the floor, and I kind of like brace against that leg pretty much. With the Cybex Eagle, you need to basically use the machine and like brace against the machine, which isn't a bad thing at all. But I just personally find being like grounded and having my feet on the floor, bracing into myself, I just feel a lot more stable and I can connect a lot better with the movement. So again, personal preference. There's so many machines for different like, kind of types of movements. Like for example here, a knotless compound row for a lat row, Cybex Eagle row for a lat row, or just use a cable if you want, there's a cable lat row. There's so many variations of every single movement, right? Just find what works for you, what do you enjoy the most, and just stick with it, right? I enjoy this the most, so I'm sticking with it because I like it. But we'll get into the set just now. It's only one set here, but it's a rest pause set. So I basically go to failure, rest for 15-20 seconds, go to failure again. That's my one set done pretty much. After this, we're then on to arms, then it's the check-in up in the posing room, get some shots taken for fun. And then that is us finished. So we'll get into the set. Overall, very successful set. Now last week, I get 57 kg for 14 on the right. That was of course 64 kg for 10 on the right. Now the rep range is 12 to 15. But again, I'm 2 reps short and 7 kilos up. My maths is right there, 57 to 64, 7 kilo difference. So 7 kilos up and about 4 reps down. But it felt bang on, like it felt very, very nice. So I can't complain there at all. Now, when it comes to like a sort of prep setting, a diet setting in general, like I used to be very scared of pushing load. Now, although stimulus is the kind of main target, we're not trying to kind of consistently keep pushing and pushing and pushing load. If you can push load and it's there to take, you just need to take it, man. You need to stop being scared of it, because I used to be like so, like, what's the word, sort of standoffish against kind of taking new progressions and new weight load. Like, even though it was there, I was still scared to take it. And it's important that you do take it, because at the end of the day, if you're keeping the same load and you're never increasing load, you're not going to create much new stimulus unless you're adding more and more and more reps every single week, right? Now, say for example, I'm at 57 kg and I stay there for like 6 months and I go from 10 reps all the way up to 30 reps, right? It then gets to a point where it's like, right, you're just now doing 30 reps for the sake of literally nothing. What benefit am I getting out of doing 30 reps compared to, say, adding 7 kilos and just kind of progressing up that load, you know what I mean? So, I have been scared in the past to progress load, but now I can understand, you know what? To create new stimulus, I'm getting stronger. I need to add more load, then bring that rep range back down again, and then keep driving that up. So kind of getting used to new loads is definitely beneficial. I've got this movement twice. I've got my pull day as well. I've got 2 sets in my pull day. And I actually do 71 kilos, so it's 1 peg up from where I am just now. And I usually get, I think it's 7 reps there. So I'm basically 3 reps off of that, but 1 peg down. So I really can't complain there at all, man. So overall, very successful. Onto the left arm, then it's arms we're finishing off with, sorry. Onto the left arm, get the left arm done, then arms. Right, for arms, personally, I opt for, well, first off, I've got a 1 bicep movement, 1 tricep movement. I opt for a single arm dumbbell incline curl. For me, feels class. You might enjoy a cable variation more, but for me, dumbbells just feel absolutely disgusting, and the pump and connection I get off of these is absolutely vile. So I stick with these because I enjoy them, right? I'm going to get the arms on show here, and hopefully the angle looks pretty class, because I've done this before and the angle doubles the size of your arm. They're not actually that big, but you'll see here, hopefully they look pretty decent with this cheat code angle, man. But anyway, we've got 2 sets here. So I've done my right arm onto the left arm. Then I do a sort of kind of mold grip for triceps. I'll show you that as well. But I just love dumbbell incline curls, man. I used to do dual arm, but I kind of switched to single arm because the connection just feels better. And it just works better for me. And I've got plenty of time, so I'm not like pure in a rush to do both arms at the same time, you know what I mean? So it works for me, so we'll get into this set and then get on to triceps afterwards. Right, we are finishing the session up with some, well, I say mold grip. The reason I say that, it's a bit of a kind of hand-shaped mold that I basically used an attachment for triceps. Now, obviously, it's a tricep push down. A quick wee kind of tip with these, what everyone basically does is basically you come down and then pull their hand, put a bit of hand this side. Basically come down and pull their hand back into their body. You don't actually have to do that. It's a push down, not push back, you know what I mean? So main focus basically being pushing your hands down to the floor. Big contraction at the bottom, big stretch at the top. Simple as that, man. So many people bring their hand all the way back here and try and bring the attachment behind their body. You just don't, there's no point in doing that. See, if you have your hands and push them like straight to the floor, right, you're then not stacking your joint, right? If your hand is by your side down here, everything's stacked in a line, shoulder, elbow, wrist, all in a line. You're just putting tension through all your joints, right? If your hand ends out here in front of you, nothing's stacked. You're not stacking any joints. All you're doing is putting tension directly on your triceps, right? So think about pushing down to the floor, not stacking all the joints, try to bring it all the way back here. Just push down to the floor, get a much better connection with your triceps, right? But anyway, into the movement itself. Following the common theme I got 10 last week, 10 this week. Should we take it, man? As long as I'm maintaining that is the main thing. So one more set here, then up to the posing room. Get a check-in shots took. Hopefully we're looking not too bad. Right, we are of course now in the posing room. Yes, I'm in the trunks, of course. Doing my check-in for fun now, so I'll record this. Obviously not speaking, but I'm taking my check-in photos. So you can kind of see the current look anyway, how we're looking at 8 weeks out, aka 57-ish days, I'm pretty sure. I think it was maybe 53 days. Could be very, very wrong there. 50 something, I said it earlier on, 50 something days. But I'll show you the current look just now. And just got on with it, man. Right, we are back in the room and we're going to wrap things up here. I've got the post-gym meal in front of me. I'll show you that just now. 100 grams of grapes again. Then we have 150 grams of white potato, 150 grams of sweet potato, and I believe it's 150 grams of 5% lean beef mince. And then of course some mixed veg in there too, if you want to see it. If this even works. There you go. I've got some red cabbage, I've got beetroot, cabbage, is it cabbage? No, pickled beetroot. Why is it pure down there now? I'll just pop it in here, double click my face and it should track me. We're back again. So some mixed veg, beetroot, red cabbage, lovely, I know. It actually tastes banging to be fair. But that was the upper day and it was a very good session. I feel a bit ruined, I can't lie, but in a good way, a very good session, successful session. I can tell that I've definitely worked hard, which I definitely did, but now it's about kind of just chilling out, resting the rest of the day pretty much. I've still got some steps to do, so I'll get those ticked off later on. But for the time being, literally just chill out, to be honest, eat this meal and relax. So that's my plan, but I hope you have enjoyed. Of course, thank you for watching. I appreciate any likes, comments, subscribes a lot, it means the absolute world, so if you do, thank you very much. But yes, apart from that, I'll catch you in the next one.